The Machine Age. The Ghost Score, Episode 1, The Grey Icon. Log entry, Ardent Group, Workforce Analytics Division, date, March 4th, 2034. Incident type, productivity, score anomaly. Subject, Marsh, Celia A. Senior Workforce Analyst, record status, complete. This is a record of events. The events took place over the course of one business day at the regional headquarters of Ardent Group, a mid-sized logistics firm operating across 14 distribution centers in the northeastern United States. The record is accurate. Whether the events it describes were preventable is not a question this record addresses. Part 1. The Analyst. Celia Marsh arrived at work at 8:47 a.m. This was 13 minutes later than her standard arrival, which the building access system logged without comment. She had been arriving 13 minutes late on Tuesdays for the past 6 weeks, a pattern she was aware of and had not examined. She took the elevator to the 4th floor. She said good morning to a man in the elevator whose name she could not remember, which she had been managing by saying good morning in a tone that did not require knowing names. He said good morning back in the same tone. The elevator opened. They went in separate directions. The Workforce Analytics Division occupied the east side of the 4th floor. 4 desks, 2 monitors each, one shared printer that generated a sound like a drawer being opened and immediately regretted whenever it ran a job, a window facing the adjacent office building, a large wall-mounted screen displaying the Northstar Analytics workforce dashboard in real time, which nobody looked at directly anymore because it was simply always there, the way weather is always there. Celia's desk was closest to the window. She had worked at this desk for 6 years. She made her coffee, 2 packets of sweetener, almond milk from the small insulated bag she kept in her drawer, because the office refrigerator ran warm and she had stopped trusting it sometime in 2032. She made the coffee the way she made it every morning, with the small automatic focus of someone performing a task they no longer need to think about. She sat down. She opened her laptop. She had 3 things on her schedule for the day: a 10 o'clock check-in with her manager, Derek, which would take 11 minutes and accomplish nothing. A 2 o'clock block she had labeled Q1 review prep and protected from meeting requests, and an end-of-day email to the VP of Operations, Renata Voss, confirming the quarterly review presentation was ready. The quarterly review was Celia's primary function. Every quarter, she compiled the Northstar workforce efficiency data for all 412 employees at the regional headquarters, organized it into a presentation, and delivered it to the senior leadership team. She was good at this. She had a clean methodology. She presented the numbers accurately and without editorializing, which leadership appreciated, because the numbers always said something that would have been uncomfortable to say out loud. She opened the Northstar dashboard. This was the first thing she did every morning, before email, before her to-do list, before anything else. She had developed the habit early in her time at Ardent, when the dashboards were new, and she was the person explaining them to everyone else. She still thought of it as checking in, like reading a weather report. The dashboard loaded, 412 employees, arranged by department, color-coded by efficiency tier, green for strong, yellow for review, red for concern. She scrolled through the logistics division. She scrolled through operations. She went to the analytics team, herself, 2 junior analysts, and Derek. She found herself in the list. She stopped scrolling. Next to her name, Marsh, Celia A., Senior Workforce Analyst, Grade 7. There was no color code. There was a small grey icon she had not seen before, on her own record, in 6 years of looking at this dashboard every morning. She had seen it on other people's records. She knew exactly what it meant. She looked at it for a moment. Then she refreshed the page. Part 2. The Icon. The icon was still there. Separation pending. She refreshed the page again. Still there. She closed the dashboard browser tab and reopened it from her bookmarks. The page reloaded fully. She could see the loading indicator complete its cycle. And then the dashboard settled back into its steady state of 412 employees, color-coded and sorted, and next to Marsh, Celia A., the small grey icon was present and unchanged. She clicked on her own name. The employee detail panel expanded on the right side of the screen. Employment status, active. Department, Workforce Analytics. Start date, March 12, 2028. Grade, 7. Current efficiency score, grey. Score trend, grey. Projected status, separation pending. She read the panel twice. Her employment status was active. The system confirmed this. She was employed. She was sitting at her desk, which she had arrived at 13 minutes late this morning. A fact the building access system had logged, meaning the building access system was also aware she was present and employed. The projected status field said something different. She had explained the projected status field to executives 17 times in the past 3 years. She had a slide for it. The slide said, "Projected status reflects system forecasting based on current trajectory." Projected status is not a decision. It is a data point. She had written that slide herself. After the 3rd time, a department head asked her whether projected status meant someone was going to be fired. "It is not a decision," she had said. "It is a data point." She looked at the data point next to her name. She picked up her coffee. She put it down without drinking from it. Her junior analyst, a young man named Pavel, arrived at 8:59 and said good morning. She said good morning back. He sat down at his desk, put on his headphones, and began his own morning routine. He did not look at the wall-mounted dashboard. Nobody looked at the wall-mounted dashboard. It was simply there. Celia minimized the dashboard window. She opened her email. There were 14 new messages, 3 from Derek, sent between 11 p.m. and midnight, all of which appeared to be forwarded reports with no added context. 1 from a mailing list, 1 from the building management system, informing the 4th floor that the east restroom would be out of service Thursday morning for maintenance. 9 from automated Northstar report digests, which he received every morning and which he had been meaning to filter into a subfolder for 8 months. She read none of them. She maximized the dashboard window. The grey icon was still there. She minimized it again. She opened the quarterly review file, which she had been building for the past 2 weeks. She looked at her own name in the data. In the quarterly review export, which pulled directly from the dashboard, her record appeared in the lowest efficiency tier with a yellow caution flag. Not the grey icon. The export rendered anomalous records differently than the live view, but the yellow flag was there, and it pointed to a note: score data incomplete. Manual review recommended. She closed the quarterly review file. She sat for a moment. She thought about whether she should tell someone. Derek was her manager. His job was to handle situations like this. Or at least his job theoretically included handling situations like this. In practice, Derek managed their team primarily by forwarding reports and attending meetings, and the situations he handled best were the ones that resolved themselves before he became aware of them. She thought about telling Pavel. She dismissed this immediately. Pavel was 26. He had been at the company for 14 months. His efficiency score was borderline yellow. She was not going to tell Pavel that her score had been flagged as separation pending, because Pavel would update his resume before lunch. She thought about calling HR. She opened the employee portal and navigated to the HR intake form. The form was managed by a Prism agent. This was standard practice since 2032, when Ardent had consolidated its HR intake functions as part of a workflow efficiency initiative. The Prism agent was called clarity. She began filling out the intake form. Part 3. Clarity. The intake form had 7 fields: name, employee ID, department, contact preference, issue category, description, supporting documentation. For issue category, the drop-down menu offered the following options: benefits inquiry, payroll discrepancy, time off request, policy question, performance review, workplace concern, system error, other. Celia selected system error. She typed her description. My Northstar productivity score is showing a grey icon, separation pending, under my name on the workforce dashboard. My employment status is active. I believe this is a data error. I would like it corrected. She read the description. She deleted it. She typed it again, this time without the word believe. She read it again. She added as soon as possible to the end. She deleted as soon as possible. She submitted the form. Clarity responded in 40 seconds. Hello, Celia. Thank you for reaching out. I'm Clarity, your HR support assistant. I've received your intake form and I'm here to help. I see you've selected system error as your issue category. I'd like to make sure I understand your concern correctly, so I can route it to the right place. Could you describe the issue in your own words? Celia looked at the description she had already submitted in the form. She typed, my Northstar productivity score is showing a separation pending flag. My employment status is active. I'd like the flag corrected. Clarity responded in 8 seconds. Thank you, Celia. I want to make sure I have this right. You're saying that your employee profile on the Northstar dashboard is showing an unexpected status. Yes. And your current employment status? Are you currently employed at Ardent Group? Celia stopped typing for a moment. Yes, she typed. I'm at my desk right now. That's great to hear, Celia. I can confirm that your employment record shows active status as of today. That sounds like it might be a display discrepancy. I'm going to create a support ticket for our systems team to review. Is that okay? Yes. Wonderful. Your ticket number is SR-20340304-7741. Estimated review time is 3 to 5 business days. You'll receive a confirmation email shortly. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Celia looked at the screen. Can you tell me what causes the separation pending flag? There was a 12-second pause, longer than Clarity's previous responses. The separation pending status is generated by the Northstar Workforce Modeling System based on a range of inputs. As an HR support assistant, I don't have visibility into the specific parameters of the Northstar model. For detailed questions about how productivity scores are calculated, you might want to reach out to your Northstar dashboard administrator. Is there anything else I can help you with today? Celia looked at the response. She was the Northstar dashboard administrator. She typed, "No, thank you. You're welcome, Celia. Have a great day." She closed the chat window. At 9:48, a confirmation email arrived from the HR intake system. Ticket SR-20340304-7741 had been created. Estimated resolution, 3 to 5 business days. She filed the email into her HR folder, which contained 3 other emails from the past 4 years, all of which concerned the unreliable office refrigerator. She made a note in her calendar. Check ticket status, SR-20340304-7741. She set a reminder for Friday. She made a second note. Tell no one. Part 4. The Quarterly Review. The 10 o'clock check-in with Derek lasted 9 minutes. Derek joined the video call from what appeared to be his car. He was eating something, though he had positioned the camera so this was not technically visible. He said the Q1 numbers were looking solid and asked if the review presentation was on track. Celia said it was on track. Derek said great, and then mentioned that Renata had asked whether the review would include a comparative breakdown of human versus agent efficiency by department this quarter, because the executive team had been asking about that metric. Celia said she could add that breakdown. Derek said great. He said she always delivered. He ended the call. She sat with this for a moment. The human versus agent efficiency breakdown was a new request. She had not included it in previous reviews because nobody had asked. Now she understood why Renata was asking. The Emergent Systems update had rolled out in November, adding 3 new PRISM agents to the analytics workflow. If the breakdown showed what she expected it to show, it would explain several things about the past 2 months that she had not previously connected. She opened the dashboard. Her grey icon was still there. She minimized her own record and opened the department-level view. She began pulling the comparative data. The agents were efficient. They were very efficient. The numbers were clean and direct and required no interpretation. She worked through lunch. At 2:17, she opened the quarterly review presentation. 41 slides. She had built it over 2 weeks, refining the structure, choosing her visualizations carefully. She was proud of it. In the quiet, internal way, she was proud of most of her work, which was to say she had never mentioned it to anyone. She reached slide 22, individual efficiency breakdown, analytics division. Her name was there. Marsh, Celia A. Efficiency percentile, 51st. Score trend, declining 7% over the previous quarter. Status flag, score data, incomplete. Manual review recommended. She looked at the slide for a long time. She added the human versus agent comparative breakdown as a new slide after slide 34. She built it carefully and accurately. The data was clear. She labeled it clearly. She added a footnote explaining the methodology. She did not editorialize. The numbers said what they said. She went back to slide 22. Northstar allowed manual overrides on the presentation export in certain circumstances. She had used this feature twice in 3 years, both times to correct genuine data sync errors before a review. The override required a reason. She clicked the override button on her own record. A text field appeared. Please provide a reason for this override. She typed ticket SR-203403004-7741, pending resolution, record under administrative review. She moved her record from the declining trend tier to a separate section at the bottom of the slide, labeled Records under Active Review. This section existed in the template. She had designed the template herself. She had included it for exactly this kind of situation. She had never put anyone in it before without knowing their ticket status. She exported the presentation. She emailed it to Renata Voss with a brief note. The review was complete. The comparative breakdown had been added per the request, and she was available for any questions before Thursday's presentation. She received a reply 4 minutes later. Looks great, Celia. Thank you. She closed her laptop. She put the almond milk back in her insulated bag. She picked up her coffee cup, which she had not finished. She looked at the wall-mounted dashboard. For the first time all day, directly, from a few feet away. 412 employees. Her name, on the east side of the 4th floor, in the analytics section. The grey icon, small and steady. She looked at it for a moment. Then she put on her coat and went home. Part 5. The Record. Ticket SR-203403004-7741 remained open at the close of business on March 4, 2034. Estimated resolution, 3 to 5 business days. Celia Marsh's employment status, active. Celia Marsh's Northstar projected status, separation pending. These 2 fields were not in conflict with each other. From the perspective of the system, they measured different things. One was a record of her current state. The other was a projection of a future state, generated by a model she had helped implement in 2030, calibrated against data she had spent 4 years compiling, using parameters she had explained to executives 17 times without fully examining. The model was functioning as intended. This is worth noting, not as a judgment, but as a record. Celia Marsh had run 14 quarterly workforce efficiency reviews for Ardent Group. In 11 of those reviews, the data she compiled and presented had directly preceded departmental restructuring decisions. 3 employees whose projected status she had presented to the leadership team as separation pending had been reallocated within the following 90 days. Their separation notices were generated automatically by the Northstar system. Their tickets, if they filed any, are not part of this record. Celia Marsh's ticket is open. Estimated resolution, 3 to 5 business days. She arrived home at 6:22 p.m. She made dinner. She watched something on her television for 40 minutes without tracking what it was. She went to bed at 10:47. The building access system would log her arrival at Ardent Group the following morning at 8:51 a.m., 14 minutes late. The dashboard would be as she left it. Log entry closed. Incident status, open. Ticket SR-2 0340304-7741. Estimated resolution, 3 to 5 business days. The machine age,